Process of electing the next pope begins tomorrow in Vatican City. The voting members of the College of Cardinals have one more night to speak with staff, family, or friends before they're sequestered inside the Sistine Chapel and cut off from the outside world until they make their choice. The next pontiff will be tasked with leading the Catholic Church's direction on a number of pressing issues at a time of turbulence for much of the world. Let's bring in CBS News papal contributor Francis Rocca for more on this. Francis, walk us through the next steps. What will tomorrow look like?
Well, tomorrow morning, Wednesday, there'll be the Mass for the election of a Roman pontiff. And the key moment there will be the homily or the sermon when the dean of the College of the Cardinals gives them guidance on what they should do. Now, in the recent history, the most famous example of that was in 2005. Then Cardinal Ratzinger, dean of the College of Cardinals, gave the speech and he was elected as Pope Benedict. That won't happen this time because the dean of the College of Cardinals is too old to vote in the conclave. But it will be interesting to see what kind of guidance he offers. Then in the afternoon, around a little bit after 4 o'clock, the cardinals will gather in the Pauline Chapel in the Apostolic Palace, and then they'll process from there into the Sistine Chapel, and they'll be chanting a litany of the saints, and there'll be a very dramatic moment where you see this historical progression of invoking the saints as they walk in. They take an oath. Each one takes an oath of secrecy and promises not to be influenced by outside considerations. And then it is said extra omnes, which in Latin basically means everybody out. And they close the doors, and then they begin. Now, there'll probably be one vote tomorrow afternoon, and at the end, around 7 p.m., we'll see some smoke. And if it's unlikely to be white smoke, which means that they have elected a pope, but it could be, it's most probably going to be dark black smoke, which means that they've got to keep going. And in the approximate following days, they will do that.
How long could this process take? I mean, is it possible? You said probably not likely by 7 local time that we'll have one, but not the 3 years that we saw in the 13th century.
No. The reason the conclaves have been short, the last one was a couple days. 2 or 3 days would be normal. In this case, some people are hoping for a long conclave. Some of the more conservative cardinals are hoping for a long conclave. Others are hoping for a very short conclave. That would favor Cardinal Parolin, the former Secretary of State, because he's the best-known cardinal. He knows all of them in a group that's very, very geographically diverse and doesn't know each other. The people don't know each other very well, but Cardinal Parolin knows all of them. So if we get a vote, we get a result very quickly, it's quite likely to be Cardinal Parolin.
What will be the most pressing issues for the next pope to address?
Well, there's a long list, but I think there's a consensus among the cardinals that the next pope has to continue Pope Francis's emphasis on social justice and peace and in the environment and migration. Those issues are very popular, even among theological conservatives and theological progressives. Then there's more division. There's more disagreement. Some people think that the next pope has to be more clear about moral teaching and that the church needs that. Other people think that he should continue to be like Pope Francis and more relaxed and more lenient about this, to be more welcoming. So I think, but one thing is for sure, the polarization in the church, the lack of unity in the church is going to be a big challenge for the next pope.
Are there challenges in making sure there are no leaks from the process?
Well, yes, that's a problem that, since 2013 has only gotten worse with modern technology. Everybody's attached to a smartphone, and certainly some of the cardinals, especially the younger cardinals, probably are too. And there's a rule against it. They're not supposed to, and they've swept the Sistine Chapel for electronic devices. In fact, ordinarily we would have been allowed in as journalists to take a peek at the setup, but they didn't let us do that this time because of security concerns. So it's a good question. They're not revealing everything they're doing because, of course, that would compromise the security. But the gendarmerie here, which has many people from the Italian police force, former Italian and security people, they're doing their best to make sure that doesn't happen, that word doesn't get out.
Francis Rocca, thank you. You can watch full coverage of the papal conclave beginning tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern right here on CBS News 24/7. We'll bring you updates as the cardinals go through the process of selecting the next pope.